Alright, so I was taking a look at some more knives on Amazon and found a couple more Samior knives, and I was a little intrigued by them and ultimately let down. But I'll go ahead and go over both of these guys. This first one is the G1028, and it's a little G10 number. You can see it's in D2 steel there, and with a detent that is very, very lackluster. Like, you can get it, but you almost actually have to put a little bit of wrist action in there. I did kind of open them up and improve the action on it because it was terrible out of the box. But that's perfectly fine as long as it's fixable. I don't really care all that much. First thing you can see with this is the liner. It's proud, it's serrated, it's absolutely uncomfortable because that's where your finger's going to go. So that is, the most obvious hot spot of them all, and it's something that I really can't quite get over with the knife. It's very, very neutral, so otherwise the ergonomics are okay, but yeah, that's pretty unforgivable. You can see that they're nested liners, at least, so that's kind of nice when done right. But yeah. This guy's got like a 2.8-inch blade or so. And I think it comes in somewhere around $18. So it's not, an incredibly expensive knife by any stretch of the imagination. However, I have already taken a look at something that's right around that price that I think is much more worth your time. And that's this guy right here, the QSP Parrot. Pardon the fingerprints and whatnot on there. But, yeah, this guy is also G10. Just slightly longer. You can see there. It's, yeah. I think this is like a full 3-inch knife sort of thing instead. Pretty close to the same thickness. It's a little bit thicker because it doesn't have nested liners, but that's perfectly fine. But the ergonomics on this thing are a hell of a lot better. The blade is just a little bit taller. So there's that. The action on this thing, it's not running on bearings, but that's perfectly fine because it's still nice and smooth. Much more, yeah, like I was saying, much more comfortable in the hand. The construction on it is actually a little bit better as well. You have thicker G10, which actually does help a bit in this case. Neither one of these has skeletonized liners, so they're fairly comparable in weight. So yeah, if you're looking for like a $20 spear point knife, this is definitely the way to go. You can skip this Samior G1028. Yeah. The other one, which I thought was going to be super, super interesting, was this guy right here. This is the Samior CF413. And, yep, on Amazon it claims it's carbon fiber. Neat. But, yeah, it's just a laminate on top of G10. So there's that. It does have nested liners again. And as you can see right here, the G10 is so thin that it was cracked and busted up before I even got the thing. The centering on this thing is super not great either. So there's that. The flipping action on it, actually pretty darn nice. And this guy does have quite the large blade. It's like a little over 4 inches, if I remember right. So yeah, you rarely do see knives that, well, there you go. That'll get there. This one, I guess, it says 4.1 inches. I can see maybe they measured from, like, the back of the blade pivot or something. But as far as accessible length, also sharpened length, you got 4 inches. So there's that. It has the same egregious, proud serrated liner there. Yeah. This one also has some construction issues that I shall go over a little bit. What is neat is that all the hardware on this thing, outside of the clip, obviously, but you know, all the screws and whatnot, they are steel, so they are basically like a heat treat kind of thing. And you can actually see that. I guess you can see it a little bit in the pivot there, where it kind of looks purple on the inside and it's blue there. And the pivot bar or whatnot, you know, the thing that actually goes through the knife there, does kind of have that little rainbow effect that really reminds me of someone just flame treating something for a particular aesthetic. And it works. I like how it looks. But yeah, I am fairly sad that unlike that other G10 with actual carbon fiber inlay, this is just a little tiny bit of a laminate there. The blade shape on it, I really don't mind though. You know, it keeps it nice and thick at the top there. It's a stabby little guy. Well, I probably shouldn't say little, but you know, there's that. The huge problem that I have with this guy, outside of the fact that it's actually kind of broke, and I'm thinking about just sending it back to Amazon because yeah, I don't really want something that's all busted up. Is it's got barrel spacers in here. You can see they're in there, basically inside the G10 back spacer there. The problem with them is that they don't sit into the liners, they go through. So you have to be very careful if you're reassembling this knife, because if you tighten one of these screws too much, it pulls that barrel spacer over to that side, and then that screw just won't be long enough to actually thread. And it's very, very, very easy to do that. So this knife is really finicky for trying to put back together. I really wouldn't suggest trying to take it apart in the first place, other than the fact that, like the other one here, the action on this guy was fairly poor out of the box. It's a little bit better now, you know, now that I've kind of at least opened the guy up. And yeah, you can see, because of it's got all those holes in there, that it does have some skeletonization going on. But it's still quite weighty for what it is. Yeah. Let's see, there was one other thing I really wanted to mention. Oh yeah, both of these guys, they are using bearings in the pivots. They're steel, they're not ceramic, and they're in brass cages. I'm not going to bother taking these guys apart because it's not super important or anything like that. But yeah, they have steel bearings and brass cages in there, and they sit into the knife blades rather than sit proud of them or sit into the liners there. So there you go. What I will say is that this is not an uncommon blade shape. And there's much better options, especially even for the price, because this guy was like $37 or something like that. Which, I mean, yeah, it's functional, blah, 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 whatever. But, you know, there's a lot of competition around there in that same price range. The two that I would say probably deserve your money just a little bit more, or maybe a lot more. For one, I'd taken a look at it just a little while ago, is the TS103 from Tucson. This is actual carbon fiber all the way through, and titanium for the frame lock on it, the back spacer, and the milled pocket clip. Does a fantastic job. Much better action, and yeah, just a little bit smaller in the handle there, and a little bit, quite a bit more ergonomic. Not a little bit more, because it doesn't have that stupid serrated point there. But yeah, this one does have, its tip does come down just a little bit more than this guy does. But if you're looking for something that's just a little bit more comparable to this, might I also suggest the Artisan Cutlery Shark. Now this one, yes, I have done some funky things with the blade, but that's perfectly fine. It's got super stout blade like this guy. obviously very, very similar. Very neutral handle, a little bit more than the Tucson there. But yeah, this is much better constructed. It is just a G10 and some steel liners there with other blue hardware. Hey, I guess it kind of matches the blue hardware there. But yeah, just much better made, much easier time maintaining it. At the moment, this one's off center. That's my fault. It didn't come that way, and I can easily fix it. I just haven't after I did a lot of sharpening recently and was messing around with the pivot and whatnot. But yeah, that's what I can say is if you were looking at this particular knife on Amazon going, ooh, that's cheap, it's like $17, I would highly suggest you spend the $2 more on the QSP Parrot. It's a fantastic little knife. And I do mean little, yet it really does give me a full 4-finger grip on there. So that's fantastic. And for this CF413, that's basically a G10 knife with a shiny sticker on the top of it. Yeah, between the two of them, I would probably suggest the Tucson TS103. But I do understand that these guys are a little bit more difficult and out of the way if someone's just perusing Amazon. So I would go with the Artisan Shark, which is a couple dollars more at $40, but that's so much more worth it for better quality of materials and construction and yeah, the whole 9 yards. So yeah, my thoughts here on Samior now is they kind of I don't know this for sure, but it does seem like they license out knife designs so that they can distribute them under their name. It might also have something to do with the fact that every Samior knife that I have doesn't even have their branding on it. It's just the steel that's there, which is D2. And yeah, let's see, that green one with the carbon fiber, the first Samior that I took a look at, the S001. Some other guys have done that. Love them knives. Took a look at it, but he found it under a different name on AliExpress, which kind of makes me think that. And yeah, so it just seems like they do kind of license out designs and everything like that from different companies. Kind of like in the computer space, like a lot of power supplies are actually kind of licensed out on a per model basis on who's going to make them. Is it Superflower? Is it Delta? Is it, whatever else? I think Delta usually makes the fans for a lot of them, whatever. But it just, they're all branded. Oh, this is a Corsair 750 watt this, or this is an EVGA 850 watt that. But they just license out those designs and those specs to a company like Superflower to make them for them. Which is why it's really hard to suggest them, because there have been some gems, like that carbon fiber and green one, outside of the carbon fiber having a lot of voids in it. It's a pretty neat knife for the price. Decently well built. And the ergonomics are fine on it. These two were absolutely awful. And that little itty bitty one, that J005, which I think I actually have to re-record that video because I was referring to the model number absolutely incorrectly. So this was probably come out before then. But I have taken a look at it first. It's fantastic. So it's kind of one of those crapshoots in a different way than you would normally find with, just searching for random knife brands or something like that. So yeah, it's interesting and difficult to try to suggest to anybody that they should try to pick up some Samior knives. That little titanium one in the VG10 Damascus, like I said, absolutely fantastic. I could suggest that. Go for it. It's not very expensive. It's made with premium materials. It's missing a couple of creature comforts, but hey, for that, it's great. But The rest of them really haven't impressed me. And while these designs don't really look to me necessarily like they were trying to rip anybody off from other established designs, there's always going to be better options within the same price range that just do the job better, and you're going to be much more happy off with them. So, yeah, that's kind of probably the last I'm going to take a look at some of these Samior knives. I'm definitely going to send this one back. It doesn't super look like it there, but if you do have it off or you pull on it, basically the G10 is cracked from there all the way back, and it will continue if any pressure is applied there at all, which will just expose the liners. And that's just, I do like nested liners, but you do have to actually make the G10 that's nested over the top of it strong enough to actually do its job, and this isn't. So it's a pretty bad design flaw in my opinion. But all right, that's all I really wanted to say. Was I took a look at it, a couple more Samior knives, and I think I might be done with the company. Just not super impressed with most of them that I've taken a look at. So I'd rather just move on and give other companies my money that might also look interesting in the future. So, all right, as always, I appreciate y'all for watching, and I hope you have yourself a wonderful rest of your day, yo.